Hey friends! So we're going to get started with today's video, and before I get into the wild robot and our read aloud, I am going to read our Team Thompson shout outs. So yesterday, hopefully you remember that I pulled out Cam, Liam, and Emma, and so we're going to give them some shout outs today. I know this is day one of doing this, so if you were not able to put your shout outs in your assignment document, they're down at the bottom. You can still do that. I saw that Will B filled out his entire compliment document, so it's ready to go for me anytime I pull a name for a kiddo, which is great. But then I also had people emailing their shout outs, and I had some people who just sent me a quick text of their shout outs, which was fine. So however you can get it to me, you can even send it through Blooms. That's great. If you did not get a shout out in for Cam, Liam, and Emma, get them in soon, and I'll read them on Monday. As well as the other new 3 names that I'll pull out. All right, so I'm going to get into reading our shout outs. Then we're going to read the wild robot, and I'm going to pull 3 new names out at the end. Okay, so to start, Cam, we've got lots of shout outs for you. So Anna says that you are always very kind. I agree. Gigi misses you because you're so funny. Liam misses the way you check on him and you ask if he's okay when you think he might be feeling sad. Myah D hopes you're doing well. She hopes you're having fun with Nora, and she hopes to see you at karate soon. Will Moylan says that he appreciates you because you're so funny. Will Benders appreciates that you're always kind and calm. I'd agree with that. Maya O would use these 3 words to describe you. She says you're cooperative, kind, and inclusive. I would agree with that as well. Cam, we miss you. We're sending you all the good vibes, and we hope you're doing well, and I can't wait to hear from you soon. All right, Emma. Anna says that you're always someone who helps when we need it. Gigi misses the way that you make her laugh. Liam appreciates how inclusive you always are. Myah D, she hopes to have a play date with you soon, and she wonders how Greta and Malala are doing. She appreciates that you've always been kind to her. Will Moylan says you're a nice friend, and there's a big thank you from Will Benders for caring for our fish right now. Maya Ojenard says that her favorite memory with you is when you guys went to your grandparents' house, and you had a gymnastics contest with you, Lucy, and Lucy's friend. Okay, Liam. Maya, we miss you a ton. Or no, wait, Emma. That was all Emma's compliments. Emma, we miss you a ton. We're sending you all good vibes, and we hope you're doing well. We appreciate you so much. Liam, these are for you. Anna says she appreciates how you are always very focused in class. Gigi misses you because you're such a nice friend. Myah D hopes you're having fun. She misses you. Will Moylan says you're a good, kind friend. Will B says he loves your jokes and he enjoys talking with you on Roblox. Maya Ojenard says that she would describe you as friendly, loving, and inclusive. I love that you guys are using the word inclusive. That's so important that we include all of our friends. We include everyone. So, Liam, miss you a ton. We're sending you such good vibes, and we hope that you are doing well. I love that you were spreading out kindness around Maplewood and Richmond Heights with your chalk drawing. So I saw some Team Thompson chalk in front of the school the other day, and that was from Liam. So that was awesome. Way to go, guys. All right, so we're going to read the wild robot, and stay tuned all the way to the end of this video because I'm going to pull up 3 new names. All right, so the wild robot, yesterday Roz was going up to a cave on the side of a mountain, and we were wondering what challenges might Roz face if she's going up to a cave. And I asked you guys to think about what the title of this chapter might be. And it is The Bears. So if you guessed that she might find bears at a cave on the side of a mountain, you are right. I'm going to make my screen a little bigger here so I can see better. And I'm going to get started. Today we're reading chapter 14, The Bears. And I don't know where I'll stop. I'll see how long each chapter is, and then I'll stop at a good place. Roz stomped into the cave, and then she stomped right back out. Please stay away, said the robot to the 2 bears who were now nipping at her heels. You see, when Roz stomped into the cave, she accidentally woke a brother and sister bear from their morning nap, which is never a good idea. And to make matters worse, bears have an instinct that drives them to attack when a creature runs away, especially if the creature running away is a mysterious sparkling monster. So as the startled bears watched Roz stomping out of their cave, they really had no choice at all. They simply had to take up the chase. Roz tried her best to outrun the bears. She leaped over rocks and wove through trees and stomped across the mountainside at full speed. But the bears were young and strong and fast, and the robot still had so much to learn about moving through the wilderness. She never even saw the tree root. One moment she was stomping along, and the next moment she's flying through the air and thumping down onto a rotten log. Clumps of soft wood stuck to her side as she stood and faced her attackers. Wouldn't you be afraid if two bears were charging toward you? Of course you would. Everyone would. Even the robot felt something like fear. Roz was programmed to take care of herself. She was programmed to stay alive. And as the robot watched those bears charging toward her, she knew her life was in serious danger. The bears slammed into Roz, knocking her against the trunk of a towering tree. Then one bear dove at her legs, and the other clawed at her chest. If only the robot had swung her fists or kicked her feet, she could have scared them off. One good bop on the nose would have sent them running, but the robot's programming would not allow her to be violent. Clearly, Roz was not designed to fight bears. Powerful jaws chomped her arms, sharp claws slashed her face, and a massive head rammed her chest. Please stay away, said the robot. Roar, said the sister bear. Rrr, said the brother bear. And then the bears went in for the kill. But the robot had vanished. What happened? Chapter 15, The Escape. Using all the strength in her legs, Roz jumped straight up high into the air and landed on a tree branch overhead. The tree shook with the sudden weight of the robot, and then thunk, thunk, 2 pine cones bounced off Roz, and a moment later, thunk, thunk, the same pine cones bounced off the bears below. The bears grunted with annoyance. This gave Roz an idea. The robot's programming stopped her from being violent, but nothing stopped her from being annoying. So Roz plucked pine cones from the nearby branches and lobbed them down at the bears. Thunk, 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 thunk. Each pine cone bounced off its target with annoying accuracy and whipped the young bears into a frenzy. Roar, said the sister bear. Said the brother bear. I do not understand you bears, said the robot. Roz was about to unload a whole armful of annoying pine cones when a distant roar echoed through the forest. Bye, James. James is going into work. See ya. Do you see the bears? Roz up there in the tree. Roz was about to unload a whole armful of annoying pine cones when a distant roar echoed through the forest back at the cave. The mother bear was calling for these two, and she did not sound happy. The young bears looked at each other. They knew they were in trouble. But before lumbering home, they glared up at Roz and snorted one last time. More than anything, they wanted to kill that robot. Chapter 16, The Pine Tree. Roz was in no hurry to leave the tree. She stayed on her branch long after the bears had gone, enjoying some peace and looking herself over. In addition to bite marks and claw marks, the robot was also covered in dirt, which of course meant it was time for another cleaning. She was making good progress when she felt something sticky on her arm. The problem with sitting in a pine tree is that eventually the tree's sticky resin will find you. It always does. And it found Roz. The robot scrubbed and scraped at the resin, and soon her fingers were completely coated in sticky stuff. Then it was all over her arms and her legs and her torso, and things were about to get even messier. So resin is like gunk that would coat something, and I'm imagining it's tree sap. And we keep hearing that word torso, and I guess I kind of just assumed you knew what that meant, but a torso is from your neck to your waist. So her robot torso. A robin swooped into the tree and began screeching and fluttering around Roz. A robin. The bird had recently finished building herself a new nest. It was a little work of art, a delicate basket woven from grass and twigs and feathers, and it was right above the robot's head. "Screech, screech," said the robin. I'm sure it was an angrier screech, though. "I do not understand you, Robin," said the robot. The robin continued screeching and fluttering, and then splat! She splattered her droppings across the robot's face. Ew. This bird was serious, so Roz scooted away, farther out on the branch, until she heard a quick, sharp crack. Before Roz knew what was happening, the tree branch snapped under her weight, and she went crashing to the forest floor. She hit the ground hard and lay there as broken branches and pine cones and needles showered down on top of her. There was another splat, and then quiet returned to the forest. Chapter 17. Okay, a lot just happened. So this robin came, and she's angry that Roz is messing around her nest, and she left her droppings on Roz's face, which she did to be mean, and then Roz had to go out to the end of the branch, and it cracked, and she fell. Chapter 17. The Camouflaged Insect. Roz was a mess. She lay under the tree, covered in a heap of broken branches and pine cones and needles. She still hadn't removed the sticky resin from her body, and then there were the bird droppings. She was about to get up and give herself a rigorous cleaning when she noticed a peculiar twig. The twig was moving. It was crawling along one of the broken branches on the ground. With a gentle touch, the robot picked up the twig. "Hello, stick insect. My name is Roz. You are very well camouflaged." The stick insect's body was long and thin. He had the same shape and colors and markings as a real twig. But if you looked closely, you might just see two tiny eyes and two spindly antennae. Spindly? The insect didn't make a sound, and he sat perfectly still as the robot. The two of them sat still and silently stared at each other for a while. "Thank you, stick insect," said Roz as she placed him back where she found him. "You have taught me one important lesson. I can see how camouflage helps you survive. Perhaps it could help me survive also." This is a funny picture coming up. Chapter 18. The Camouflaged Robot. As you know, reader, Roz has always liked to keep herself as clean as possible, but her desire to stay alive was stronger than her desire to stay clean, and our robot decided it was time she got dirty. Roz was going to camouflage herself. She'd gotten the idea from the stick insect, but Roz quickly realized that camouflaging herself as a twig was out of the question. No, the robot would have to blend into the landscape itself. She began by smearing handfuls of thick mud over her entire body. Then she plucked ferns and grasses from the ground and sank their roots into her new muddy coating. She placed colorful flowers around her face to disguise her glowing eyes, and any bare patches were covered with tree leaves and strips of moss. Our robot now looked like a great tuft of plants walking through the forest. She waited for darkness, and then she patted the center of a clearing, nestled herself between some rocks, and became part of the landscape. Okay, so if you can imagine that Roz is camouflaged like the forest landscape around her, maybe you visualized this. Can you imagine seeing something like that walking through the forest? A few hours later, the sky was brightening. The fog was lifting. The nighttime animals were slinking home, and the daytime animals were beginning to stir. It was just an ordinary morning on the island. However, there was that new tuft of plants in that one forest clearing. Only the bees had noticed the tuft. They buzzed around it, completely unaware that the robot was hidden beneath. And so Roz sat there, right in the open, yet completely unseen, and observed the wilderness around her. She watched flowers slowly turn toward the sun. She listened to rodents crawl through the weeds. She smelled the moist, piney air. She felt worms wiggle against her muddy sides. A week later, the tuft of plants was gone, but there was a new clump of seaweed on the shore. A week after that, the clump of seaweed was gone, but there was a new bramble on the mountain. Then there was a new log on the riverbank. Then a new rock in the forest. Okay, so I guess Roz is moving herself around, camouflaging as different things. She's picking up on what she's noticing around her. Okay, so we're going to do 2 more chapters. Chapter 19, The Observations. Clouds scudded through the sky. Spiders spun intricate webs. Berries beckoned to hungry moths. Foxes stalked hares, rabbits. Mushrooms rose up from leaf litter. Turtles plopped into ponds. Moss spread across tree roots. Vultures hunched over carcasses. Ocean waves beat against the coastline. Tadpoles became frogs. Caterpillars became butterflies. A camouflaged robot observed it all. Chapter 20, The Language of Animals. It started with the birds. They had always been skittish when the robot was near. They would stare and screech and then scatter, but now that Roz was camouflaged, she could secretly observe their normal behavior right up close. Roz noticed chickadees fluttering through the same flowers and singing the same song every morning. She noticed a lark who swooped down the same rock and sang the same song. All right, Coop, you ready to listen? Sorry, that distracted me. Roz noticed chickadees fluttering through the same flowers and singing the same song every morning. She noticed a lark who swooped down to the same rock and sang the same song every afternoon. She noticed the same 2 magpies, which are a type of bird, singing to each other from across the same meadow every morning. After weeks of robotically studying the birds, Roz knew what each bird would sing, and when they would sing, and eventually why they would sing. The robot was beginning to understand the birds, but she was also beginning to understand the porcupines and the salamanders, which are like little lizards, and the beetles. She discovered that all the different animals shared one common language. They just spoke that language in different ways. You might say that each species spoke with its own unique accent. When Roz first listened to the chickadees, their song sounded like tweet, tweedle, tweet, tweedle. But now, when the chickadees sang, Roz heard, "Oh, what a lovely day it is. Oh, what a lovely day it is." Deer, they spoke mostly with their bodies. By simply turning her head, a doe, a female deer, could say to her family, "Let's look for clovers by the stream." Snakes often hissed to themselves. Things like, "I know there's a tasty mouse around here somewhere." Bees, they said very little. They used their wings to buzz a few simple words like nectar and sun and hive. Frogs spent much of their time searching for each other. One would croak, "Where are you? I can't see you." And then another would reply, "I'm over here. Follow my voice." That's funny because if you've ever heard frogs talk, they really do like call out to one another across the pond. When Roz first stomped across the island, the animal squawks and growls and chirps had sounded like nothing more than meaningless noises, but she no longer heard animal noises. Now she heard animal words. Maybe that's why Cooper joined us for this chapter. Coop, what do you talk about? Okay, not much. So Cooper is going to help me pick out our next 3 names. All right, and if you're following along at home in your own book, we just stopped at chapter 21 of The Wild Robot. All right, here is our next 3 names. Okay. All right, today and tomorrow, you have all weekend to get me these compliments. So if you haven't done Emma, Cam, and Liam, get them in throughout the weekend, and I will read them Monday on my video. I won't post till Monday. And then I have a new name. We're going to have compliments now for Myah Davis. So this is Myah Davis. Okay? So think about what you love about her, what you miss about her, 3 words to describe her. Myah, hey. All right. So Myah Davis, and our next name is Vida. I just got to talk to Vida's mom yesterday. Vida, we hope you're doing well. So Myah Davis and Vida, and then our third person, Eleanor, Ellie. All right, so we've got Myah Davis, Vida, and Ellie. Send in your shout outs to those 3 people soon. All right, Myah, Vida, Ellie. All right, guys, I hope you have a great weekend. We got through week 1 of virtual learning or distant learning, remote learning, and I hope it went well. I have connected with almost all of you. I've gotten more letters from people. Keep staying in contact with me. I love reading your writing as I see you working through your writing lessons. Yeah, you should have some comments on your assignment doc from Miss Saldana today. She was looking through your work. And again, let me know if you need help. Have a great weekend. See you guys later.